Okay, so this is something I've always wanted to do. This year, when a sequel or a prequel or a spin-off of a movie comes out, like any movie that requires you to watch previous movies to fully understand the story, when that happens, I want to watch everything that leads up to the movie. And Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, is out now. So I was thinking, hey, why don't we start with number one? Paranormal Activity is directed and written by Oren Peli and stars Katie Featherston and Mika Sloat. Now, this is pretty much, you know this premise already. It's basically a couple in a house and they begin experiencing like freaky things, so they decide to set up a camera and catch, whatever's terrorizing them on tape. Now it's kind of unfortunate how much hate Paranormal Activity gets now because back then it really did used to be good, and I heard lots of people talking about it was really scary and stuff. And this movie got a lot of comparisons to the Blair Witch Project. It's like the Blair Witch Project for the new generation, and that's a very fair comparison because it was really low budget and it's really made to make you feel like what you were seeing was real. And these movies, they really capitalized on the idea that your imagination is scarier than whatever you see on screen. And I might be in the minority at this point, but I really do think that Paranormal Activity, the first one, is a really, really good movie. Like, this is a good horror movie. What's so great about this first Paranormal Activity, I think, is that most of the time you're not seeing anything happen. In fact, like, you never see the ghost in this movie, like, at all. Sorry, you never get to see the demon. Anyway, but this movie makes really good use of these lingering shots. Like a lot of the time, you're just staring into the darkness, but that's freaky, you know. Like you try going downstairs in your house right now, like or at least like middle of the night, and just stare into the darkness and try not to get freaked out. Like you eventually will. So the tension that this movie builds is so excellent. Like like you can really feel from beginning to end. Like you just get a bit more nervous with every scene, and by the end, it's just you're hiding behind your hands. Or at least I kind of was, admittedly. It's so interesting too because you just know that something bad's gonna happen, but and yet you just kind of you don't want to watch it at the same time. You just have to. Your eyes are just glued to the screen. And again, it is interesting that you never see anything, and but you're still so hooked to watching it. Like you're just afraid that something might show itself, but it's really really fun to watch, especially with your friends. However, given all the lingering shots, this movie really does end up being very uneven at points. Kind of does follow a pattern at points. Like after a while, you realize it's just the pattern of Katie and Mika, reacting to whatever they saw, and then cut to footage of what they saw, and then back and forth, and this gets tiring. It's really repetitive, like near the end, but it helps build the tension, I think. And again, what's cool is that they use such simple effects, and it's not grandiose or anything. It's just really simple things like a door moving, and it's just really subtle techniques like no visual effects here or anything. But that's so effective because it feels so real. The sound also is very subtle and scary. Like there's no music in the background, and it's just really like ambient noises. You just like when the demon's around, you just hear like this humming whatever, and then when the demon screams and stuff, it's really scary. It's hair raising. And I think it's kind of unfair to talk about this movie in terms of like plot and acting because I don't feel like that's the point. I mean, this is a found footage movie, and in essence, it should be a movie that feels natural. So like you're not supposed to think, oh, this script is well written, or oh, these actors are doing well, because like this is the kind of movie that if you can see that they're actors, then they're not doing their job right. But I will say that the actors who are Katie Featherston and Mika Sloat did good jobs. I mean, they have good chemistry with each other, and it's not like they're really acting for the camera, but they did what they needed to sell this movie, which was just like this natural relationship. And again, with found footage movies, you can't expect to get like a full arc, like a full character arc. So, but I did think the characters were deep enough for us to understand who they were, to kind of care about where they were in the movie. And the dialogue did feel natural enough, so good job, I guess, to them. But this really is such an interesting movie to me. I mean, like it's pretty much overdone at this point, but I can imagine like back then it was something really, really new. This revitalized interest in the found footage genre, which is like what the Blair Witch Project did. I think Oren Peli actually does a good job directing this. I mean, it's obviously is like this haunted house movie, but like a bit deeper, you get to see that it really is about this relationship kind of falling apart. And again, this entire movie is a build up to the last scene. The last scene, I was just kind of trying to hide from the screen because it really is super super tense. Like you're just for the longest time you're just staring at nothing, and you're just, oh my god, what's happening? And the payoff is great. Like you're on the edge of your seat, and it gives you something I can't describe it here, but yeah, but really, if I think if they just really stick to the roots of it being like super simple, but about at its core about relationships between people, I think they can get some of that magic back. But yes, in the end, I think the first Paranormal Activity is a really, really good movie. Like this is something I think I could watch again. It's just really a really good exercise in how to make low budget movies, and it's kind of inspirational for budding filmmakers. So yeah. All right, so that is Paranormal Activity. I'll be coming out with reviews for the next three movies, and then after that, I'll watch the marked ones. But first, what did you guys think of Paranormal Activity 1? Did it scare you? Did it not scare you? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Whatever you think, please leave a comment and let us have a conversation.